Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers. I'm looking at a book on employment law, which is a new area for us as practicing barristers, and it's this book. It's called Disability Discrimination in Employment by Spencer Keane and Richard Oulton. It's by Oxford University Press. It's not a heavy book. It's about just under 400 pages. There are some useful appendices and an index at the back. You can see the index here, and then the appendices are at the back. And the one thing that is useful with this publication, it does have paragraph numbers at the sides for ease of reference. Now, it's a good little book, as I've said, and one that we need as practitioners both in tribunals and in general advice. There is in fact a Flickr review here which I have produced, and the title of the review that I have written with my wife Elizabeth Taylor at Richmond Green Chambers is as follows. It says, the title is Catching Leaves in the Autumn, and it's taken from the statement right at the front of the book by the authors, which I'll talk about in a minute. So whether you are advising a claimant or respondent, employment law in all its complex cases and activities can present a formidable challenge, especially in the area of discrimination claims. And the authors say writing this book has felt a little like trying to catch leaves in the autumn. And as the winds of change have continued to gust through this area of the law, it seems as though we have been standing under the tree for a very long time indeed. They caught the leaves for us, is the only thing I can put back as a response. Quite so, of course, because it explains better than we can why, if you're an employment lawyer, you should know about and buy this descriptively entitled Disability Discrimination in Employment. Obviously recently published by OUP in 10 chapters, and there are 5 appendices. Confronted, of course, with the grim realities of an employment tribunal, you'll find this book an invaluable help, we think, in preparing for it, if you've not covered this aspect of equality policy before. And frankly, it is new to quite a lot of the older members of the legal profession who are not quite as familiar with some of the nuances of the new legislation or the new rules. So Keane and Oulton contains everything you need to know, and in particular about running a disability discrimination claim or defending one, both in terms of procedure and substantive law, and there's a masterful index with excellent detail as well. And if you're providing non-contentious advice, the book lends your deliberations and opinions the weight of well-nigh unassailable authority. So for convenience, and of course for the efficient conduct of a case, the book allows quick access to key cases and materials, and summarizes and distills the concepts set out in the legislation. The appendices, which I indicated there at the back of the book, include the Disability Discrimination Act of 1995, parts 1, 2 and 7, and schedules 1 to 3 as amended of that legislation. Then there's the Framework Directive for Equal Treatment in Employment and Occupation, and the Disability Communication Guide produced by the Federation Forum on Disability, which is of great use. You'll also find a list of cases from the Employment Appeal Tribunal, the Court of Appeal and the House of Lords, organised by reference to disability. We think that the work is distinguished for its logical structure and plain language. The book deals in detail with all the issues pertinent to this complex and evolving area of law, including things like the meaning of disability, the duty to make reasonable adjustments, victimisation, harassment, and of course remedies. And there's a very helpful chapter on practice and procedure at the tribunal, and there's much more for the practitioner in this new litigation area, which I haven't got time to go into today. As you would expect from this excellent work of reference, there are extensive tables of cases, legislation, statutory instruments and European legislation. And if you practice regularly or even occasionally in this difficult and often sensitive area, having access to this type of book, which I think is very helpful as a sort of middle term practitioner myself, you could well find that it makes all the difference in helping you achieve a positive outcome for your client, and you'll certainly catch all the leaves as they fall. Thank you very much. Bye bye.